Your palms are sweaty. Hell, you're sweaty. You watch a man get thrown clean into the air by a single beast. In a split second, that beast has changed course and made you for his target. Wait for it. Wait for it. Just a little bit longer. Now, you duck down into that perfectly human-sized ball, many times practiced. You wait for the impact. Sometimes it comes, and you're thrown around like a rag doll. And sometimes you're given the "you're okay, cowboy" by a pickup man, and you stand up, watch that beast exit the arena, and do it all over again. Hey y'all, the above scenario happens to us barrelmen on a nightly performance basis. Today I'm going to go over a little bit about what a barrelman is, and hopefully give you a better understanding about what we do. First, we'll limber up into how I personally became a barrelman. Then we'll climb into the purpose that us barrelmen serve. And finally, we'll toss around some of the distinctions of the barrelman. So jump that fence, put on the game face, and let's get started. Head first is how I got into this business. My dad was a rodeo clown in the 70s and 80s. He was a bullfighter as well. Did some rodeoing. I was home for Easter over college break, and I said, you know, what's it take to get started in this deal? And he had previously tried to restart a year before last, and he came down with cancer. So he wasn't able to go ahead and take his goals where he wanted to take them. But this year we got her all started again, and we're off and running. So began my training. He said, what it takes is you sit down, you get in, you shut up, and you hang on, and the rest will come with experience. And that's a direct quote, and that's true. It is exactly how it happened. I started out not knowing a dang thing, got in this here barrel, and started learning. That's what it took. So we started to go through some training. I learned some techniques, some strategies. We went over how many scenarios, where the bull would come and hit the barrel at. What you want to do is always put your back to the impact if it's possible. We went over to more training. I was going to be a barrelman in a few short months, so we had a lot of ground to cover. We went over to North Platte, where two professionals, Boom Boom Barry Johnson and Doug Kohler, they're both professional bullfighters. I went over and had a private school with them. It took a couple days, but we finished that up, and by the end, I would consider myself a barrelman because I went through a lot of training. Doug has an egg-shaped barrel. This is a round barrel. Doug has an egg-shaped barrel that's designed to continually flip over and over, and we did that for a good 5 minutes. So, but it's interesting how it works. So now that you've kind of got a little bit of feel how I personally got into it, let's get into what we actually do. We're there for three main purposes: protection, entertainment, and thrills. Protection, we're there to assist either the bullfighter or the cowboy. When the cowboy gets off of a bull, it's not always the best situation. So one thing the bullfighters can do is come around, get that bull's attention, and then get over behind our barrel and use it for a stop. And what they'll do, they help us as well. They kind of make sure the ends of the barrel are never towards those bull's horns where they can get up and hook up in there. So it's for their benefit as well as ours. If the cowboy's injured, they need to get those EMTs out to the arena and sports medicine right away. And we kind of just serve as a distraction. Bulls like to hit barrels. Their stock contractors have trained them to do such a thing. So that gives them a little time to get out and be safe. If they're not injured, once again, it gives them time to get out of the arena without getting injured. The entertainment factor, everybody likes to see somebody get in a barrel and rolling this thing. Young and old, it's all appreciated by it. You sometimes get hurt, and obviously people don't necessarily like to see that, but that's what we're out there to do. We're out there to put our lives on the line for them cowboys and do a job. It's a job, that's what it is. And finally, this is no fact by any means, but it's all about the thrill. Being in that can with a 2,500 pound plus animal coming at you, and you have nothing to surround you but by this little steel here, it really gets your attention. Your heart starts racing, your palms get sweaty, and you do it again and again and again. What's really fun is on those bull bash nights when you have a whole series just of bulls. That's when you have a lot of fun. So now that we've kind of went over how I got into it and some of what we do, let's talk about some of the distinctions. There's a pretty big misconception where rodeo clowns and bullfighters and barrelmen are all the same. Well, that's not true. Back in the 70s and 80s, they might have did all three jobs, but the barrelmen specifically are there for entertainment and protection. The bullfighter's the same way, a little bit of entertainment, mostly protection. The funny man, which is my second job with my dad, we go and tell the jokes throughout the first part of the rodeo. You do the few rodeo acts during the downtimes, have a little bit of time there. But we're also there for protection as well. We're trained just as like anybody else, that if something goes wrong, we can get in there and fix it. So, I mean, basically, that's a real good overview of what we went over. We went over a lot about what you need to know to either become a barrelman or just a little bit of info about a barrelman. First, we limbered up on how I got started. Then we climbed into some of the purposes that we serve as barrelmen. And finally, we tossed around some of the distinctions of us barrelmen. So climb out of the arena, drop a knee, you made her through another night. It's not a job for everyone, but if you seek an adrenaline-rushed, heart-pounding action laced with uncertainty throughout, then you might want to look at being a barrelman. So grab life by the horns and put on a show.